I have a confession that's going to get me into a lot of trouble here. Hello everyone, I'm OCDsaster, and this is OCDsaster Blue, my Sonic exclusive channel, where everything we do here is Sonic related, so if that sounds like something your speed, consider checking out some other videos after this one and subscribing to the channel. Now, what is the thing that will get me in trouble? When I first saw the announcement for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, and I saw that vehicle transformation was still a thing, I didn't like it. Yep, that's right. I was annoyed that your car can turn into a boat and into a plane for this game. I was like, oh geez, this is just Sonic and Sega Racing All-Stars transformed again. Man, that's a mouthful. But I have definitely changed my mind on this. And it might be for a different reason than you think. You see, I have always been a kart racer fan, from Mario Kart to Crash Team Racing to even obscure racing titles such as Sonic Riders. However, for the beginning of this era, a lot of mascot kart racers were just that. They were in karts. There was no changing it or spicing it up. Eventually they add motorcycles and different vehicle types, but there was never a changing of the actual vehicle you were in. Once they started doing this, at first I thought it was really cool, but then every single kart racer started doing it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the next previous racing games and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this is a little bit gimmicky and I kinda don't like it. Well, I've come full circle finally in my old wise years. I've turned around completely. I think it is a great mechanic and we should all calm down if we are upset about it previously, because changing your car to a boat or a plane is actually brilliant. And not just from a standpoint visually, but because it helps service the atmosphere and the worlds that these games are taking place in. Let me expand upon that further. You are limited by only being in land vehicles. You just get tracks. You have to be driving on land. Otherwise, the immersion is broken if you're driving on water. That looks weird. That looks funky. That does not look right. So, you're limited in your tracks and what levels you go to based off of this limitation. But if your vehicle can just automatically turn into a boat or watercraft, you can now go further into the ocean and see things from stages or water stages that you couldn't before. They were just visuals before. You couldn't actually reach out there. But now, it's part of the track. And it's actually kind of brilliant. The same thing can be the sky. You see these giant structures in the sky and you're like, oh yeah, that's from that game where I used to actually be able to go up there and run up there. Too bad I'm on a car, in a car, and I can't drive up there unless there's a track that connects me up. And that just looks weird because tracks don't go up like that, like a roller coaster. Well, your kart turns into a plane and you're soaring up into the sky. And now you get to see the air levels that you never thought you'd be able to race in before. This is the magic of kart transformation or vehicle transformation. And I think that's the main purpose. It's not necessarily a gimmick, it's allowing you to be immersed in these stages and levels that you couldn't really go to before, and it really makes it better. And it makes you feel something, nostalgia and this grandeur that, you know, just on a racetrack could not do. It's a little bit too grounded. What can ruin this, however, is the weight and the control. So let me go deeper with this. When you are driving a car in a racing game, you want to feel like you are controlling machinery. You are driving a car. And most people that are playing racing games have rode in a car or have driven a car. So they know what that feels like, and especially if you're behind a wheel, it's not just an ease, a light, floaty feeling, right? There's some oomph behind it, is the best way to describe it. Yeah, that's very scientific, right? Oomph. So when you're playing racing games and you don't feel any feedback, the car feels light as a feather and you don't really get any like pushback or any weight when you're turning, it doesn't feel right. And then if that gets transferred over to when your car turns into a boat and you don't feel that buoyancy, you don't feel a little bit of like less traction and that you're just soaring across the water, then it feels weird. If it feels like you're still driving a weighted vehicle, like a car on water, that's not how that feels. That's not how that works. And then once you take up to the sky, if you don't feel light, if you don't feel like you're pushing forward through the air, it's not gonna come off right as feedback as playing a game. Now, I'm not a game dev, I'm not a game designer, I'm not like Pirate Software or, you know, these people that are claiming to be more than what they are, right? Yeah, I'm doing some drama, I'm throwing in some shots, yeah. So I'm not gonna pretend, right? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've never built a video game, I know nothing about video games. I am just a casual video game player, and this is just my take on it, and that is you need your vehicles that you're controlling to feel like the vehicle, right? If it's a motorcycle, it's not going to feel as heavy as driving a car, but you're going to have, you know, a little bit more of a tight turning, tight drifting thing to it. And I think for the most part, these racing games have perfected the karts and the bikes. And then when you have like Sonic Riders, where you have hoverboards and extreme gear, you can kind of defy gravity and defy, you know, physics and logic to kind of craft your own feel for it. However, I have played Sonic Racing, All-Star, Sega, Transform. I get all the words mixed up, whatever, right? And at least for the first few times I played that, I really had to get used to the controls because the flight and the boat didn't really feel right. There was something about it, but that game is older. That game is in the past. We are now in the present, moving to the future, in which CrossWorlds is coming out next month. And that's the thing that I really want them to hit home, and I really hope they can do. I've never played the open beta or any of the CrossWorlds yet. I'm really hoping I could before the game actually releases. That'd be a lot of fun, but I don't know. I've only seen people's gameplay videos here and there, and I really just focus on the main Sonic channel with their release. And from what it looks like, I don't know. It seems like they have the plane down correctly and they have the boat mechanics down correctly. When you see the boat on the water and there's waves, it's bouncing up and down. The plane seems like it's soaring through the sky, like very easy, like a warm knife through butter. The karts confuse me a little bit. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily a bad thing. It could be. It's a concern that could come up. But once again, I haven't played the game, so I don't know. So don't just start attacking me in the comments, please. But it seems like the cars are very light. Especially when you have tricks where they are just like moving the cars at, you know, crazy different speeds and heights. And it looks kind of wonky. Now, it's a kart racer with anthropomorphic characters. Like, you don't need to be realistic. You don't need to be grounded for these sort of things. But the cars do seem like they're very light, and they have very easy cornering and moving around. Now, there's a power-up in CrossWorlds where you turn into a monster truck. That looks good. That looks big. It looks beefy. It looks a little bit slower, but like you're mowing through the terrain and over enemies. That looks good. But it's just the main car itself now. I think we've done a great job of building in the automation of changing the, you know, the car to a boat to a plane, and then they're finally tuning up what that feels like. But the car itself, it just needs to feel right. And I'm just really hoping they can do it, because I've seen games where it just looks too loosey-goosey. Example, Five Nights at Freddy's, the 5 Laps at Freddy's. I never played it, I will admit, but I've seen other people play it, I've heard other people's comments on it, and that looks like the cars are just floating. It just seems like there's no real oomph behind it until you hit something and you spin out, and then it's like absolutely crazy. So there's a balance to this. And once again, I am not a gaming expert, I am not a developer, I don't claim to be, so I can't really say how to even perfect this. But I just really hope that they get a good feel for Sonic CrossWorlds karts. I saw in some gameplay that the extreme gear does not change if you're on a hoverboard, if you're in the sky or on the water. The hoverboard does not change necessarily. It might get some turbines on the back of it, but it doesn't like transform altogether, which I think is kind of a lost touch, because in Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, when you leveled up, you would actually change your vehicle. I know some people didn't necessarily like that, and I personally didn't like that in the Sonic Riders context, but you could have easily implemented that for CrossWorlds, where when you are on the water, your, you know, extreme gear would turn into like a jet ski or something. But that's a nitpick. That's not something that is like, oh my gosh, this game is terrible now. I'm not saying that. But this is my long-winded rant on the vehicle transformations in racing games and my one tiny little concern for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. I want to know what you guys think down below. Do you like the transformation changes for these kart racers? Do you think they look right and fine-tuned for CrossWorlds? Have you played CrossWorlds? Can you alleviate me from my worry that the cars feel a little bit too light? Also, to be fair, the game hasn't released yet, so they could still be, fine-tuning things. And they might even, since it's a live service game, be able to patch and balance things out later. So it's not that big of a deal. It's just something that I wanted to discuss in today's video. If you liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I have tons of other CrossWorld content here on the channel, but I also just have a bunch of other Sonic content here on the channel as well. A bunch of different versions of things, Let's Plays, walkthroughs, theory videos. It's all here. You just got to go to the channel page and just scroll about, see what catches your eye. I would really appreciate it. Lastly, to show myself a little bit more, we do have memberships on the channel. It is 99 cents a month if you can afford it. I'm not telling anyone that they need to do this. I'm not saying that I want you to spend your money. It's just an available perk. Once I get enough members, at least 5. I only have a few right now, but once I get 5, I will be able to initiate the perks of watching videos early, being able to vote on what videos come out first. I just don't want to give all that power to like 2 or 3 people, because then it just becomes their channel, their committee, and people will like lose out on stuff. Anyway, I'm OCDsaster, and I hope you have a super Sonic rest of your day. See ya.